So I'm recording this on my iPad now, guys. That's why it looks a little bit different. So where I left off is the testing process. So the next part of it is you have to, there's like this rectangular thing about a little bit bigger than the size of the semi truck. And in certain movements that they will tell you, you have to be able to get it into the spot. Now, when they did it for us, they would show us beforehand all the steps to literally get it in the spot. And you had to remember those steps to get it in the spot. And that was the expectation, was that you would remember those steps to get it in the spot. So that was the testing process. And then when that was done, they assigned a trainer for me to go out on the road with for about a month's time. My guy was actually pretty chill. He was a cool guy from the state of Washington, and he had a family and kids, and this white dude, and kind of lengthy, long white guy, and he used to be like a coke fiend or something like that. He had talked to me about that a few times. And, he was a good guy. And so I would drive during the day and he would drive at night. And of course, he would have to find ways to get some sleep, but he could only get so much sleep because he's a trainer. And he ended up leaving the company because they got rid of the training position for his specific fleet, which was the flatbed fleet. And we hit it off, got along really well. I remember one time we stopped at a casino and got some good food. And, he stayed out and gambled a little bit. I didn't gamble, but... And he recommended me to be on the flatbed fleet, and which was great. And immediately I was making more than most of the people who had been in the same training class as me. Now, you're not always going to luck out like I did. Maybe if you have the charisma like I do, then perhaps, but otherwise, you never know. But so I was very lucky. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm sure really what it comes down to is, for anything, is for really, again, anything, is that you are interested in doing that requires certification, is, can you do it on your own? For example, can you purchase enough books and study the material yourself and fully do it on your own? Or, and if you can, is the process simple enough to where it far outweighs just going to a school that will offer you this assistance? Honestly, guys, it's really hard to find any sort of training program or any sort of certification that you don't need training from certified instructors. So semi-truck driving, I don't think you could. I think maybe you could pass the written exam on your own, but as far as the actual truck driving, like the DMV doesn't have a semi-truck laying around where they can test you. Now, is it possible that some DMVs have it, or motor MVR or whatever the fuck it's called? Is it possible that some driving places have it? Yes. I mean, I guess, but I've never seen it. So as far as the driving part of your test, you would likely have to go to a school to do that. Is it possible that some of these schools would allow you to pass the test on your own and only go there for the driving part and somehow make it cheaper or something? Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. I didn't go that route. it's the same with welding. Is it possible that you can learn welding enough from like an uncle, or decide to go to a business and say, hey, I'm interested in welding, and can you take me on as an apprentice? I'm okay not earning a bunch of money at the front, and I just want to learn from you. Yeah, I suppose it's possible, but in the end, you do have to have these certifications, and 9 times out of 10, certifications require instruction from a certified instructor. And so I would say 9 times out of 10, you're just better off just going the correct route, the path of least resistance, even if it costs a little bit more, and just go through a school. And as far as that part goes, you researching what the price points are for these schools, that's up to you. And whether it's a good school that offers good training, all of that is up to you. But really, any certification, all of it comes down to you just having the wherewithal and motivation to research it yourself, because ultimately you can end up watching a video like mine and be given some tips on how to go about it. And really, you can just Google yourself how to become a semi-truck driver. What do I need to do? What places offer semi-truck driver training? I want to become a laborer. How do you become a laborer? What steps are required to becoming a laborer or construction worker? What schools offer training? Guys, a lot of junior colleges offer a ton of trade programs. Where I live, it offers one of the best welding programs that exist. Maybe not in the world, I don't, but it's just overall, it's a respected welding program. So, you can, as far as that goes, welding and shit like that, you can consider the JUCO route. I know that there are some programs that are not university or state school related, that, it's kind of in the same vein as what I had said earlier with the semi-truck driving, which is they will train you so that you will end up working for their company. And there's also some that's not the case, where they are solely a training program. So that's how you become a semi-truck driver. Now, I guarantee there's going to be some semi-truck driving people who watch this and go, well, no, that's only if you want to work for a company and this and that. And because really, when you're a semi-truck driver, you have two options. You can work for a company, a fleet, and work for a fleet within that company. Or you can become an owner-operator, where you own your own semi-truck and go about it that way. The problem with that is, again, it's the trouble with anything that you do on your own. You have to make the connections. You have to set the schedule, and you have to follow up with payment and make sure that you're being paid correctly, and there's not any bullshit going with your deliveries and stuff like that. When you work for a company, you're going to be paid regardless, because they're doing all that bullshit for you. And so you have to ask yourself, is the extra money that you would make from owner operating worth it to deal with all the bullshit? Ultimately, that is up to you. So, but at least early on, for like the first year or two of you driving a semi-truck, I would encourage just doing it for a company, because, figuring it out, seeing what you like and what you don't like about semi-truck driving, and then go about it from that. If you decide to be an owner operator, see if you have the money to invest in a semi-truck and go about it. But it's not cheap, guys. I'll tell you that right off the bat. It is not cheap. And from what I've heard, it is very, very, very stressful, because you live and die by the deliveries that you have created. And sometimes there is some bullshit that goes on. There just is. So, that's really what it comes down to. But I said in the first video, the pros and cons, the things that you have to ask yourself, as far as what it takes to be a semi truck driver. And the two main things that I said was, one, you have to be willing to spend long periods of time on your own, away from home, which not everybody can do that, especially nowadays with the weak ass society we live in. A lot of people cannot do it. You know, if especially if you're like obsessed with pussy and women, and you know, need to be around them at all times, and you know, when you're driving a semi truck, you know, most of the time you're stopping at truck stops, and you're around, you know, truck stop type people. I would always try and stop at a Walmart, or more like not truck stop places, so I could be around normal people and get normal food. As for the semi truck driving, you know, you can really deck out your semi truck. You can get a heater. I mean, all semi trucks nowadays pretty much have a heater. But you know, you can get a TV hooked up in there if you want. Really, I don't think it's worth it, because all you need to do is have unlimited Wi-Fi, and you can create a mobile hotspot and watch it on your computer or tablet or whatever. You know, I saw a guy who had a bench press built into his. Now, I don't know if you could do that if you work for a company, but if you're an owner operator, you can set that up and build that in. A lot of people have fridges and freezers, shit like that, you know. But it's a hard life, guys. It is. It's not easy. You know, you have to be willing to live dirty, and piss in jugs, and go several days without taking a shower. You have to be willing to eat shitty food, at least at first, when you don't have enough money saved up to get some of the amenities to help with this process. You know, now you do figure out hacks and stuff. Like, I would buy wipes that I would wipe myself down with. You know, I would get tons of water, so I always had water. But you have to be careful with drinking water or any drink, because then you got to take a piss every 2 seconds, and it messes with your route. You know, a semi truck is not just something that you can just stop, and you do have to be careful about taking a piss outside of your truck, because if you know, you might get hit with indecent exposure, which you don't want that. It's a tough life, guys. It really is. And the other thing is, not just the being on your own aspect, but you have to be willing to, this is not something that you have to have, but it is better if you do have it. If you are somebody who can relax your mind fairly easily and turn your brain off and just kind of let the miles just pass you by. I was not somebody like that. And, you know, I was counting the miles, and you know, the amount of shit that I would think about while driving a semi truck was crazy. Now, you know, listening to a podcast or having a movie playing in the background or some shit like that does help, but you know, you can't help it. Your mind just ends up really thinking about a lot of shit. So anyways, guys, I hope this helped you. I don't know, you know, if a lot of people really are considering being a semi truck driver, but you know, I'm glad to be of service. If there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow, and facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Christ is King. Peace.